This is Nathan Stanford. We're going to be looking at even 5 more examples of HTMX and PHP. First one we're going to look at is the CRUD operations with HTMX. So when we look here, you can say I want to add a new user, and I'm just going to say Albert, and we're going to say actually let's give him a last name, Robertson, and we will say a Robertson at test.com. Click add, and now we have a new one here. If we hit refresh, you'll see that Albert Robertson shows up here. Let's say maybe his name was Al, not Albert, and maybe he doesn't like the fact that I used that Albert. I can update it, and it's ready to go. I can then say, well, that was just a test user. I can hit delete. You can change the look of these and put these in columns, and line them all up, put the edits on the left and the deletes on the right, or whatever you want. But still, this is a cool way for HTMX to help make your website more interactive and more modern and work pretty easily. So let's go look at the HTMX code. So if I go in here and we go to the index and we look here, we've got where it says user management, it's got the add. When it hits this spot, and it will load when it hits this and triggers to load, then it will go get these users. Anytime the users change, it will go get these users. So when you go look at get users, here it's querying the database, and I had it limit to 10 so we wouldn't get hundreds of pages. But we'll see, there's an example in a minute how to take care of that too. So here we're echoing back all of the information we need to be able to display each of these. HX get is going to say when you click edit, go get this and replace it into the target of the particular user and that row number. And the same thing with delete. It would look at that particular user and the row number, and you're passing the ID of the user, and you're going to delete that and empty it out. So if you look at the, let's say the edit user, we go here, and edit user is one where you can post to the update and pass all the information in from a form, and it will not change the page. It'll just simply reload that little section where you've updated. It will get that information for you and redo it. Delete will simply query the delete and remove it from the code so when it changes. Here is the add. This is add user. It's going to insert it into the database and then rebuild that new button and make it show up. So there's lots of things. I think one of the ones were, all of these are going to be example code that you'll be able to get access to. So if you didn't get a chance to type these, I will work on getting these put into a Git repository, and that way you can get these. I should put it in the link of this video down below, but please subscribe and let other people know about what I'm doing. I like to make sure I'm helping people. I want people to subscribe so that I can get better and get more people out there learning from what I'm doing. Okay, we're going to look at the second one, the real-time chat application. So if at work you need a chat application, you can actually build one using HTMX. So what we're going to do is we're going to first click on that. Then we're going to make it half the width, and I'm going to open up Microsoft Edge. If I hit refresh, you can see I've got 2 different users. So I can say, want to play a game tonight, which I typed earlier. And it pops up and shows us that, and say, I'm busy recording YouTube videos. And you can set here in what game are you wanting to play? and you notice it shows up over here. So this is a real-time chat application that you can use. Now, let me close this, and we're going to go look at the code that it takes to do this. So if we go here, you've got the index page, which has this chat starting of this chat. Now, what we're doing for now is we're just making up a user, a fake user. You would normally have them log in. Once they're logged in, then you would allow, once there's a session, then you would allow this chat down here to begin. And so it would echo the user's name and say, hey, welcome, whoever it is. And then you can start putting in the messages, and it will check every 2 seconds. It will load this trigger to check, is there any new messages every 2 seconds? Just keep looking for them. So when someone sends a message, it will get sent to send message. Here in send message, it's going to store that message in a JSON file. Now, you can obviously make it in the database if you wanted to. I don't think you really want to, but you can come up with other ways to store the messages. But this is just a quick show you how to do it. It outputs who the user is and what the new message was. And then it calls this JSON. And then if you come back here to messages, well, let's go back here. You've got send message. And then you're going to go input the message. You type it in. You hit the button. It sends to send message. And then in here, it checks to make sure the file exists. Then it stores it in the JSON. And then it takes all the contents of the JSON and pushes it. And so you get to see this message that you're being put in come out in this. For each message, it's going to loop through and display them. So that's going to continue to display each and every one of these. So hopefully that gets you excited about something you might be able to do and use. Now we're going to look at pagination with HTMX. Earlier when I was doing the CRUD operations, the reason why there was so many was because I added a bunch. So if you go in here, you've got a bunch of these people, and you can do regular pagination. You can obviously have it sort by something, and then that way each one of these would be pulling just the ones you want. So let's go look at the code for this. So in here, you've got it loading the content. It goes and gets the page, and it tells them we really want to start with page 1. The triggers when this page loads, that means as soon as this page loads and displays, it's going to go with this page. It's going to do a query of the database. It's going to get a certain number of records. This one's 5 per page. And it's going to query the database and say limit it. Now this is because we're using MySQL. There's ways to do it in other database languages, other like Oracle and MSC, Microsoft SQL. Limit to start and how many per page. So that way you're only fetching the rows you're actually going to use. And then down here, you're counting to see how many there are, so you can put a ceiling on how many buttons you need, and it will then output the buttons. And then this page will close. So as you click the different ones, it will go get whichever page that you've passed in. You notice here you're passing in through the URL, the page, and then down here, you're also making sure it's an integer. You're making it an integer. So if it couldn't be turned into an integer, if you were putting in a letter, it would crash. And here's your connection. And there's more things you can do security-wise and different things. But this is just a quick show on how you can use HTMX to simply load your data and have it trigger to get all the pages. Now we're going to look at the multi-step form wizard. Now this can be used to have plenty more than just a 3-step process, but I'll show you an example of 3 steps. So we click here. You say, okay, I'm going to fill out my name. My name's Nathan Stanford, and my email is, let's say, nightcoder@test.com. Go next. I'm going to put in an address, 123 Any Street, and then it's going to be my town. Click next, And now it's saying, are you ready? Is this everything? It can be 4 or 5 steps, however many steps you need, and then you can submit it, and it will have submitted it. So now if we go look at the code for this, if we start with here, we have this on load. It's going to load step 1, so you can start the process. So in here you can have whatever information you need for the first form, and then you can pass this data to the second form. So it's going to, when you post, it's going to replace it with step 2, and then in step 2 you're going to have that stuff stored somewhere. It can be stored in the session like here. There's other things you can do, but step 3, you will fill out this information, and now you will have that too in the session. You might even want to create a class that holds all this data, and you just add it to that object as you go. And here it's showing all of the information, saying, are you sure? Is everything correct? And if it is, then when you submit it, the confirmation comes back from submit form, which I thought I had opened, which I didn't. So here is where you thank them for filling everything out, and then you kill the session because you don't want them to have that ready for the next time they fill out the form. So hopefully you like that, and hopefully you find it useful at work. The last one for this list is the server sent events for live updates. So this one would really be cool. So if you had a tool that is going to be pinging and you send it, hey, they got a new email, and boom, now you put a little number 1 red in the circle above the email so that they know that they've got a new task. So if we go look at this, it's doing a lot when you sit here and look at it. It's just simply getting the time, but it's reloading the thing after. It's reloading this after the server makes the change. So let's go look at the code so if you can see what I mean. Here we're doing SSE, connect. It's creating a connection so that anytime this message changes, it's going to swap it out with the new message. So if we go here, you can see we're setting up the time, we're setting up the data to be sent. Anytime that data gets changed, it's going to flush it through and it's going to show up. And so this is one way you can use this to set up a little notification. A lot of this go around HTMX things are things I plan to try to use at work because I really like these things. They make sense to me as useful bits of code. Hopefully you understand. If you have any problems or have any suggestions for other, we'll see if I can get some more HTMX PHP. I'm also considering working on a PHP form. I've been working on a Cold Fusion form using HTMX, and I'm thinking I'll do the same sort of thing, but do it with PHP. So if you want to learn Cold Fusion, go check out my videos in Cold Fusion. If you're wanting to stick with PHP, watch my PHP videos. If you want to learn Vue, React, Angular, anything else, just let me know and I'll see if I can work on it at some point. Right now I've got a lot of things in my mind that I've got planned. Thank you, and talk to you later.